The next generation are here on the men's and the women's because we have two young champions at Indian Wells. We have Mirra Andreeva, the 17-year-old sensation on the women's side. And from the UK, Ben is still smiling, it is Jack Draper. He has won Indian Wells.
That's right, Indian Wells is over and we've got Jack Draper winning his first Masters event. What an incredible performance, especially in the final. He absolutely destroyed Holger Rune. It wasn't even close. 6-2, 6-2. And we have Mirra Andreeva on the ladies as well. She came from a set down against Sabalenka, who crushed the Australian Open champion, only dropping one game. And that just goes to show how much Mirra Andreeva has come on this year. Back-to-back Masters events for her as well. What an incredible event, JG.
Yeah, and I'm trying to work out what the bigger story is. Is it Mirra Andreeva or is it Jack Draper? I think they're both pretty massive. But let's start with Mirra Andreeva. The reason being is she's just done it in back-to-back events. Two Masters events in a row is pretty crazy at 17 years old, considering the players she's beaten. And I don't know if you're going to bring it up, but when you go through the list, you can see it. So starting from the top, Avanesian, Vondrausova, Grand Slam champion, Peyton Stearns, Iga, Rybakina, Towson is having a good year, Gracheva, Towson again, Rybakina, one of the big players, Svitolina, an elite player, Iga, and then Sabalenka. So there's two Igas in there. You've got Rybakina, Sabalenka, and all of the rest as well. Two Rybakinas, by the way. She has proven here she can beat anyone. Does this now put her on the stage to going into a Grand Slam as one of the contenders to win it? Because I think surely it has to. She's shown this year something she's not been able to do in the previous season. Granted, she was only 16 last year, 15 the year before, and we need to talk about her with some context of her maturity and her age, and it's going to take some time to get there. But already at 17, to be able to do this in back-to-back events, I think is astonishing. And there's so much hype at the moment about Fonseca and other players on the men's, and even other ladies we've spoken about. But I think she doesn't get enough hype. I think everyone should be talking about her as the sensation of the generation. And I think it trumps the Fonsecas on the men's.
Yeah, it definitely does trump it. I mean, what she's doing in the women's game right now is nothing short of astounding. Back-to-back WTA 1000 wins. Most players strive for one in their whole career, and she does back-to-back. I have no doubt in my mind she's going to be world number one at some point in her career, and I don't think it's going to take her that long either if she keeps on playing like this.
Well, could it be this year? She's moved up to number 6 in the world. Could this be the year she makes world number one? She'd have to win a slam.
Yeah, she'd have to. But she got to the semi-finals of Roland Garros last year. It seems that this slow surface at Indian Wells, that really suited her game. Despite the fact Sabalenka came out fast in that first set, you see that once Mirra Andreeva's just sort of worked out her movement and worked out how to move around the court to get everything back in play. She relies so heavily on being fast around the court, getting from side to side, and then just has great shot variety. And now her serve is super fast as well. I think it was over 200 kilometers an hour, and she didn't even realize she served that fast. She has every trick in the book. And I know that we've been speaking on the men's side about Fonseca. I mean, it's not even close, really, with the amount of tools on a tennis court. She has so many more in comparison to what Fonseca has. He's a little bit of a one-trick pony at the moment, but a really good trick that he's got, and he will grow. But what she's doing right now is she's ultimately looking like the best player on the women's tour right now. And by winning back-to-back WTA 1000s, who can argue with that?
Yeah, she's very accomplished in all departments, and for her age, it's astonishing. To put it into some kind of context, women under the age of 18 to defeat a world number one and world number two in a single WTA event in the last 40 years, there's only three names. Can you guess who they are? You
Well,
guess one of them.
I can read who they are.
Oh, you've got the tweet, do you?
Yeah, that's
No, that's
on the
annoying. I
screen.
didn't realise it was on the screen. So you got Steffi Graf, Serena Williams, and now Mirra Andreeva. So the two greatest players of all time are Mirra Andreeva. She's on a list what Iga, Sabalenka, Coco Gauff hasn't been able to do, and she's there already. It's insane.
Yeah, we're going to run out of words, I think, to describe her achievements, because I think that it's going to be ongoing from here on out, really. I think that there's going to be a slam, there's going to be more Masters, there's going to be the WTA finals, she's going to tick a lot of boxes over the course of the next, I'd say, 3 to 5 years. She's going to have a lot of success. She just needs to stay humble, she needs to stay fit, healthy, and give us the incredible performances that she's been giving us. And I think other people will then have to raise their game. That she's going to inspire so many young girls growing up. We know how many great players there are from Russia and from the Czech Republic. Maybe there's going to be some other countries that are now going to look at her and think, why not? If she's doing that at that age, what an inspiration.
What is your favourite shot of hers?
I'm torn between a few because I like how tricky she can be, but I also like how solid she is. The backhand down the line is probably my favourite shot, but I like the fact that she just, if she's out of position and she just needs to reset the rally, she will just forehand slice it back into the court and then just get back into the point. Even towards the end of the match against Sabalenka, she did an incredible bit of recovery, and it just caused Sabalenka just to completely miss the next shot. She got in her head so much. It's brilliant to see. I mean, I felt sad for Sabalenka. I think we're seeing a bit of sour grapes a little bit from the number one and two, like Iga and Saba. I don't think they like it. There's a new girl on the block and one who's beating both of them, and they don't seem to be taking it that well.
I don't know why you'd say that, because Sabalenka seemed to be quite gracious in her defeat today. Iga, maybe not so much. We saw an incident with her smashing the ball into the ground, almost hitting one of the ball kids. I think she's probably going to be a bit tougher on the fact that she's not the main girl. But listen, Iga's still there. It's going to be an exciting season now. And I'm just happy that we've got another person in the mix. And that's all we really want, as many as possible to make each event really interesting. In terms of what shot I like from her, I think you summed it up nicely. That her backhand is so good at that age. It's not a shield. It's something she can use as an offensive weapon. But the unpredictability of her is that of an Alcaraz, in the sense that I loved where after she served, Saba returned today, and then she went for a drop shot straight off the bat. I wasn't expecting that, and neither was Saba, clearly. But she's just a really good player all round, and one who can increase the power when she needs to. And it's not easy to be able to beat Sabalenka on a tennis court. There's not many players which will go through their whole career with one match win. And in the previous efforts, we've always said she's struggled. She's got bullied by her. Now I think she's becoming stronger. She's maturing into her body, and Saba's not being able to bully her around. We've never questioned her ability and her tennis level, but now she's a little bit more of a force physically, and everyone should be worried.
Yeah, I think the court being a little bit slower really helped Mirra Andreeva. I think if she was to play Saba on the faster courts, Saba would still probably have her number, would be able to overpower her. But she's learning every day, and who knows, next year in Australia, we might see an even better Mirra Andreeva, and she may be able to challenge some of these power hitters on the Australian hard courts. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see how she does at the US Open. I'm excited to see how she
I
does
think
at
Roland
Roland
Garros
Garros.
is the good one because Iga, that's been her stomping ground. So can she now? She's just beaten Iga the last 2 times in 2 Masters events back to back. Is she going to now take it to Iga at Roland Garros? Because then she's, for me, becoming a big claim for a world number one status very, very soon.
Well, we need somebody to challenge Iga as well. She sort of has free reign at Roland Garros, and I like the fact that we're now having some new faces come in, and I like the fact that we're having new faces come in also on the men's side, because we've got an absentee, Yannick Sinner's not around at the moment, and some other players stepped up. I'd say Rune had a good week, but Jack Draper, he is a level above Holger Rune right now. The way he beat Alcaraz and the way he handled any nerves, I didn't look like he was nervous at all in the final today. He just played his game. It was very, very consistent, very great, great with the serve, great with the forehand. Rune had no answers. He seemed to just buckle under all of the pressure Draper put on him.
And that was highlighted in the Insights performance rating. I don't know if you've seen it, but he saved his very best till the final, and we saw a rating of 9.15. I don't have all the averages to hand here, but we've gone through it many times. And when you're watching the matches, it pops up on the screen what the tour average is for forehand, for backhand, for return. And his has always been consistently above at Indian Wells. But looking at some of these here, 8.5 backhand quality, 8.4 forehand quality, return quality 8.7, serve quality 8.7 as well. It was a really, really solid performance. To get a 9.15 rating, that's one of the highest I've seen. Usually when a player's playing very well, they're around the 8s, but that is astonishing. And I'm not surprised because his return, I thought, against Alcaraz was sublime in the sets he was winning. The one he took off, maybe not so much. But today, he just played that same level of when he was on against Alcaraz, which is for 2 sets, and Rune is just not as good as him. We saw this matchup, didn't we, at UTS? We saw it play out in front of us. Rune versus Draper. Draper bullied him. He bullied him. He looked the better player. And I think that Rune needs to make up ground if he wants to get to the level of Draper. And this should be really encouraging for someone like him because he's someone who I think can now push on to the top 5. That's got to be his target. He needs to try and maintain himself as a top 5 player in the world. And I'm saying this after he's only just got inside the top 10 after beating Alcaraz. He's now up to 7 in the world in the live rankings. You look who's above him, Casper Ruud. I think he should be looking at Casper Ruud thinking, you know what? Maybe not on the clay courts, but on everything else, I have your number and I should be beating you. Novak Djokovic is in 5th. He's declining. Are we going to see him win any more slams? I really doubt it. He's going to pick and choose his tournaments. And then beyond that, you've got Fritz, Alcaraz, Zverev, Sinner, of course, elite level players. Medvedev's dropped. He's in 8th now. I think Draper is making a claim. He needs to push himself on. And I think top 5 needs to be where he is at because that's where his level is. And if he can maintain this, then when Sinner gets back, I'm really looking forward to that matchup as well.
Yeah, I think he would have learned a lot from playing some big matches over the past year as well. I even think when we go back to that UTS, when we were there in London just watching him win that UTS, I know everybody probably says, oh, come on, it's just like a bit of an exhibition. He's still playing top players in that tournament, and he still won that tournament against all of those top players.
Comfortably as well.
Yeah, and he left there probably with an air of, oh, I can beat these players. It might be a different format, but I just won the big grand prize. There was a lot of money at stake there as well. So I think Jack Draper, step by step, I know that we talk about Yannick Sinner, they're pretty much the exact same age as well, 23 years old. The way that Yannick Sinner had his trajectory where it was slowly, and gradually win a 250, win a 500, win a Masters, win a Slam. I think he's on the same trajectory as Yannick Sinner, but maybe a year behind, maybe 2. I think it's brilliant to see, and I can't wait to see him play Yannick Sinner again at some point, because I think Yannick Sinner is going to be in for a shock. There's going to be a completely different Jack Draper that he's going to be facing, a confident Jack Draper, a Masters champion Jack Draper now. It's going to be exciting because Alcaraz right now, he's going to be looking at Jack Draper going, oh no, looking over my shoulder, because he's coming for that top 5, like you said, and he might be trying to come for that top 3 too.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got to remember, Carlos Alcaraz played Draper at the Australian Open. January 18th was the date. And after Alcaraz beat him, he retired from the match. He was forced, I think, in the 3rd set, maybe. He wrote on the camera, "You will be where you deserve." You wind on to March 16th, so not too long, only a few months, and Draper wins Indian Wells, first Masters title, and defeats Alcaraz in the semis. So he certainly was able to live up to the billing and be that guy so soon. And with Sinner, there's a lot of similarities, because with Sinner, we knew he was a great player, but we questioned his physical ability. Can he sustain it over a Grand Slam? Can he do it over the course of a tournament? Even after the quarterfinals, he's injured, he's struggling, he looks weaker. And Draper is exactly the same. But if he can get rid of all that physicality problems, and he's gone now, deep in 2 events back to back. He's not quite done what Andreeva's done on the women's, but he almost won both of them. And look at the players he's played. I mean, the draw here, no one can say he's not had to do this the hard way. For me, this is one of the toughest run-ins you can have right now at the Indian Wells event, because you've got 3 Americans, 3 of the very best Americans right now in America. You've got Fonseca, who is the new sensation, one of the best players who people are billing to be the next best thing. And then Alcaraz, who's not lost on these courts for 3 years. Okay, granted, maybe the final's the easiest one on paper, but it is still Holger Rune, world number 13. Not an easy match. He's just played some really good tennis, Holger Rune, up to this point, defeating Medvedev. So, and no final's ever going to be easy. Someone's there off merit for getting and beating all the players in front of them on them very courts. So, if you look at that, that is a really great achievement, and I think it just adds even more value to his win.
Most definitely. Crazy route to the championship. And I like it when you see somebody who has to go through like the wars, really. When you see a hard draw and then you see someone win the tournament with a hard draw, that's the perfect way to win your Masters. You don't want it to be all like, oh, look, yeah, but he had like world number 250 and that player wasn't in the tournament. Like, it was, yeah, the only player that wasn't there was Yannick Sinner, but the reigning champion was Carlos Alcaraz, 2 back-to-back. He was going for 3 in a row. And the way that he played against him was exactly the same way he played against Holger Rune. The only difference is Carlos Alcaraz is a lot better than Holger Rune and was able to turn around the second set and then nearly do something. But credit to Draper, he showed a lot of maturity this week, especially against someone like Alcaraz, who, he, like you said, he retired against him in the Australian Open. He was too tired. He played too many 5-set matches. That's where the key is going to be for Draper moving forward. Needs to grow in Grand Slam matches. 5 sets. We don't know how good he is going to be over 5, but we know he's amazing over 3 sets now. That's the next stage.
And since October, we know he has been on a very similar trajectory to that of a Yannick Sinner. And I've sent you a good tweet now. Because since October of last year, so that is after the Slams, Jack Draper, 87%. He's won 20 matches, lost 3. And he only trails Yannick Sinner, who's 100%. So since October, by the way, Yannick Sinner's won 21 matches without losing one at ATP level, minimum 5 matches. So if you go down the list, you've got Sinner there 100%, which is ridiculous. Draper, 87%. Laszlo Djere in 3 with 80%. Medvedev, 76%. And Alcaraz, 75%. So they've been the form players since October 2025. I mean, Laszlo Djere, Medvedev, I'd love to see how many matches they've actually played. I can't imagine it being that many, but still, I know Djere has been playing quite well.
Yeah, you got to think of the level of competition they've been playing in as well. Yannick Sinner, obviously the highest of the the high, and Jack
Yeah,
Draper
he's just beaten 21 fantastic players.
His one is just crazy, and the manner in which Yannick Sinner beats players is sort of the manner that we saw Jack Draper defeat Holger Rune today. I think that was what I was thinking when I was watching it. I think Yannick Sinner would do exactly the same thing to Holger Rune right now. It would be one-sided. He would beat him, and Holger Rune would look frustrated and have no idea how to beat him. It was exactly the same type of victory from what you'd see as like a real top player, like a champion. And I think Jack Draper, the way he played, I'm excited now. We got someone in the UK I can really get behind. Since Murray's gone, I've been looking, I've been searching, I've been hoping for Jack Draper, and now he's finally arrived. So I'm well and truly on the bandwagon.
Yeah, and also something was just happened not too long ago, Ben. I don't know if you even knew about this, but Fonseca has beaten Bublik.
Yeah,
did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
So he's just won a challenge. I'm surprised Bublik's playing. I'm surprised both players are playing in challenges. But fair play. Fonseca just beaten Bublik in 2 tie breaks, but straight sets. Let me see if I've got... There was a tweet here. Yeah, so Fonseca around the world in 85 days. Have you seen that one? I'll send it to you now.
I've got it, yeah.
Okay, it's quite a cool one. So December 22, it was 22nd of December, champion in Jeddah. January 4th, champion in Canberra, so Australia. And then Buenos Aires, February, and Phoenix in America, March 16th. So he's been every month going to a different continent and winning tournaments.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I know you're saying about it's a challenger event, but you don't really have the option when you're playing a Masters and you go out early. All of those players just gravitate to the next tournament. So that was this Phoenix Challenger, and fair play to him. He still had to beat some good players as well along the way, and he's won that title as well. So it goes to show he's still improving and still winning. Even when he lost to Jack Draper, he probably looks at Holger Rune's performance today and think, probably think I did a bit better in the first set than even Holger Rune did.
Yeah, and he's up to now 60 in the world. So gained another 205 points, gained 20 places, 60 in the world. He's one off Marazan. You got Shang. He's in that little section. Learner TM, by the way, he's doing crazily good too. He's 66 in the world. So they're very close.
I mean, he didn't have the best Indian Wells. I really expected a lot. I think he's having a lot of pressure put on him at the moment, Learner TM, especially because it was in America. I think he had the same thing that Fonseca had in Brazil. He turned up to Indian Wells. Everyone thought he was going to beat Navoni, the clay court player, and he lost in straight sets. So the exact same thing that happened to Fonseca happened to TN. They're very fresh. So I'll let him off for that one. Hopefully we get to see him in Miami in the next tournament.
Right, let's wrap it up there. But I've got a question, Ben, for you before we end it. And that is regarding Fonseca and Draper. Who do you think over the next 3 years, let's just make it more interesting, over the next 5 years, who do you think is going to win more Grand Slams, Fonseca or Jack Draper?
Jack Draper, definitely.
How many is he going to win? Give us a bold prediction.
5 years is a long time. I think over the next
a
5
range.
years.
Is he going to win more than one?
Yeah, I think that Jack Draper will have.
And you don't
3.
think Fonseca's going to get a single slam over the next 5 years?
That. I think that Jack Draper will have more. I think Fonseca can win one eventually, but he's not shown anywhere near the level yet. But he's shown some good promise.
Okay, there we go. You've heard it there from Ben. I'm not even going to answer it because I'm not sure and I'm going to have to think about it. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let us know your thoughts on Mirra Andreeva, Fonseca, Jack Draper, and anything else. We always love to read the comments. And it's been a really good few weeks of tennis, seeing some young talents come to the very top of the sport and win big events. Next, I think we've got Miami coming up not too long. I know
Yes.
Djokovic is out there partying at the moment in Miami with a few celebrities. So let's see if he's ready. And we'll be giving a draw reaction when it comes out and some predictions.
That's right. One last time. Congratulations, Jack Draper. Let's go, GB.
See you soon.